I honestly can't tell you how many years I've waited to make this video. I'm not talking about an idea I had for a few weeks or a few months. I'm talking years I've been waiting for this moment because I want to share my secret online income system with you, just to prove that anyone can make their first $1,000 with it. So if you want to make your first $1,000 online, even if you have never made any money online before, well, I'm going to share the 5-stage journey that is proven to make you your first $1,000 online. None of this fancy 10K a month, $100,000 a year, $1 million a year, blah, blah, all this, like these big things. I'm just talking about your first $1,000. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it easy here. Now, it really starts with understanding the one big problem that stops you from succeeding on pretty much all of the ventures that you try. And then once that problem is fixed, I'm going to share with you the 3 best free methods to make your first $1,000 online. And finally, one paid method that requires no more than $100, which is my secret online income system that I mentioned. And that actually speeds up the process tenfold, so that way you can make your first $1,000 this month already. Now, before we get into it, I want to tell you my motivation to actually share my secret online income system with you. And this is just full transparency. You see, after I closed the offer for Agency Navigator after the Time's Up event last week, I received thousands of comments from countless people telling me how bad they wanted to join Agency Navigator, but that they simply didn't have $1,000 to invest. And this has been a recurring comment over the last year or so. And I finally decided to create something specifically for these people who can't afford to invest $1,000 to join my program and learn directly from me. So make sure to watch this entire video, because I have a huge announcement at the end. The announcement that I've been waiting years. This has been a vision of mine for years to create. And I guarantee it's probably going to be something that you're going to be interested in. And especially if you watched my event Time's Up last week and wanted to join Agency Navigator, because you see that 2024 can be the year that everything changes for you. But you simply didn't have enough funds to join. Now, with that being said, let's get into the one big problem that stops you from succeeding on pretty much all of the ventures that you try. You see, the biggest mistake people make when they haven't made their first $1,000 yet is that they see what people who are making millions a year are doing, and then they try to copy them, which is quite literally the worst approach you could take to start making money online. Because the thing that's going to make you your first $1,000 is not the same thing that's going to make you your first $100,000, which is not going to be the same thing that makes you your first $1 million, which is not going to be the same thing that makes you your first $10 million, up to $100 million, etc. And that was exactly the same case for me as well. I made my first few $1,000s flipping Instagram accounts. That's how I made my first few thousand. And that gave me enough cash to buy a camera and then start a content production agency. And my agency got me to my first $100,000 and my first $1 million. And that first $1 million then allowed me to invest into a team and structure to build my software company and my e-learning company. And that took me to my first $10 million. It's really like a staircase, and each step takes you to a new level. And the crucial thing for you to understand here is that you have to start at the bottom. Listen, if you try to compete against me, you're never going to succeed. At my e-learning company and my first ever software company, just those 2 companies alone, I have 8 figures a year in expenses. Like, really wrap your head around that. $10 million a year in expenses. And not only that, the experience that it took to get me there. You know, my first software company that I started in 2020, I actually started that with a client at my agency, and I never would have started that business on my own. It was only because of his technical knowledge that I felt ready. I didn't have the experience for that. And I definitely wasn't going to throw hundreds of thousands of dollars investing in a venture when I had no experience and I could lose it all. If you try to do the same business model as someone who's making millions of dollars a year, or maybe even tens of millions of dollars a year, it's a very different game, because you lack the funds, you lack the business experience, and you lack the structure. And that's also why I sell my agency program for $1,500. So it filters out the people who still haven't taken the first step in the staircase, which in this case is making your first $1,000. Because it's simple. If they can't find a way to put together $1,000 for that level of mentorship and guidance, well, then they're probably not going to even succeed in the first place with the things I teach them in Agency Navigator, because they're simply at a different career stage. They just need to focus on making the first $1,000. That's it, not building a $100,000 a year business. Listen, the example I like to give is that of a bodybuilder. You cannot try to copy the diet of someone who's trying to compete on Mr. Olympia and expect to get in the same shape that that person is at. Because at that point of their journey, they are cutting calories to get to the lowest body fat percentage possible. But before ever getting into a cutting phase, they spend years bulking up and building the muscle mass that's required to get into competition shape. So if you're starting going into the gym now and just go straight away to cutting calories without having any muscle mass as a foundation, well then you're just gonna look like you suffer from malnutrition. And that's why you gotta start at step one, which is building the muscle mass as a foundation. And that's the exact same thing with making money. You have to build the foundation. And that is making your first $1,000. And the thing is, in order for you to make your first $1,000, you don't need to start a business. You don't need to invest thousands of dollars. You don't need to spend hundreds of hours of creating content. And you definitely don't need to get into any overcomplicated and very expensive business model like starting a software company or a full-blown e-learning platform like you see a lot of 8 and 9-figure net worth individuals just like me doing on the internet, because you're not at that level yet. So there's no need to add complexity that comes with running a business at a multiple 8 and 9-figure operation. So let's just keep it simple and focus on making your first $1,000. Just $1,000, that's it. After you've made that, then you can think about doing something a little bit more complex, but that's for later. So here are the 3 best ways to make your first $1,000 online. Now, the first easiest free method to make your first $1,000 online is with copywriting. That is just writing texts online. That could be emails, blog posts, website pages, etc. Now, if you go online, you're gonna find dozens of videos telling you to find a niche, create a complex outreach structure, learn how to write long form copy, and this is all great advice if you wanna make $100,000 a year as a copywriter. Now, remember our goal here, to make your first $1,000 online. And for that, none of this complexity is necessary. All you need to do in order to make $1,000 online with copywriting is to find one easy to fulfill gig that pays anywhere from $100 to $250 and repeat that 4 to 10 times, which is extremely simple. Now, where are you gonna find those gigs? Again, if you search on YouTube, you're gonna find a bunch of copywriting gig websites such as Listverse, where you can get paid to create list articles. By the way, that is, you know those like list articles, like the 10 most influential historical figures that you've never heard about, or the 10 most famous fictional weapons from movies. You know those like weird list articles, like just, you're like, who writes these things? Well, there's a massive market for it. And you basically get to submit a few 1,500 word articles a day. And if one of them gets accepted, you get paid $100. And it actually works. If you try hard enough, you can definitely make $1,000 with this. It's just not my favorite way to get gigs because the approval for those type of websites can take up to multiple weeks, which slows down the process a lot. And when it comes to making money online, speed of implementation is key. One, because on the internet, things move so fast, and the faster you get things done, the more likely you are to make your first $1,000. And two, because by having to wait for approval, you lose the momentum of getting things done, which is the thing that leads you to succeed online in the first place. And that's because when you're first getting started, you usually have to apply for a bunch of gigs, most of which you won't get, and that's completely fine, by the way, because the way it usually goes is that you apply, get rejected a bunch of times until one of your gigs finally gets accepted. And once you get that first one, the momentum just starts working in your favor and you start to get more and more gigs way more easily. So you just have to get through that first resistance phase. And having to wait weeks for approval for each one of your articles just kills that momentum. Now, another website that people talk about a lot is Latium.org, which is basically an alternative to Fiverr, but with way less competition. So that way it's a lot easier for you to get selected. But by far my favorite way to get copywriting gigs is, again, to keep it simple and to go with the most popular platforms out there. The first one is Upwork. If you go into Upwork and click on Find Work and then on Find Work for your skills, and then on the search bar that shows up, you type out copywriter, you're gonna find thousands of job posts for these simple copywriting gigs. I mean, listen, with 2 minutes of search, I found a bunch of great starting gigs here, such as a Facebook ad copywriter for a roofing company, and that's paying $150. Then we have a content writer, a product page copywriter, a landing page copywriter, an email copywriter, paying anywhere from $1,000 to upwards of $1,500 per gig. And those have all been published in the last 24 hours, by the way. So there's literally thousands of gigs available now. All you need to do here is to apply to every single one of those gigs every single day for 6 weeks. And if you do that consistently, it's virtually impossible not to get enough gigs to make you your first $1,000 because there's just so many options. I have people in my programs like Hamid who are getting $1,500 gigs on Upwork left and right. I mean, Hamid himself got over 10 gigs in 30 days, which are all extremely simple to fulfill. Listen, the $1,500 was basically just to write the copy of a website. That is, the text that you see on a website. That's it. Upwork itself says that the median hourly rate a copywriter gets paid on Upwork is $19 to $45 per hour. So as long as you invest 22 hours to 52 hours into this, on average, you're gonna make your first $1,000. Now, the obvious question is, how do you fulfill on these gigs if you don't have any experience copywriting? Well, that's where we go to our friend, ChatGPT. Now, we're not gonna simply go there and tell ChatGPT, write me an ad for a roofing company, or write me a list article with 10 items, because the quality of that output is gonna be terrible. You see, here's what most people don't understand about AI. ChatGPT is capable of writing world-class level copy, but its outputs are only as good as its inputs. So the secret here is giving it the right prompts. For example, let's say I want to write a sales email that's either selling a product or taking people to a product page, which is the most common type of email that companies will ask you to write. Well, I have one specific prompt that I use for that, and that is a prompt that's crafted by my world-class copywriter, Luis, who's my CMO at my e-learning company. And I've taken this example straight out of his $1,500 copywriting program, Pen to Profit, that we actually have inside of our company. Now, I'm actually gonna paste a copywriting script template that contains fill in the blank spaces for beginner copywriters to use and make their job easier. And the words that are inside the bracket are the spaces where the copywriter must fill in the information for the audience that he's writing to. And inside the bracket, there's always a description of what they should use to fill in the blank, such as a pain point, a benefit, a desire, etc. Now, here's the script. If you are your target customer who desired outcome, but can't, problem that stops them from achieving desired outcome, watch out. Hi, my name is your name. And if you want desired outcome plus benefit plus pain point, pay close attention. Many, your target customers, currently suffer from the idea that a limiting belief your target customer have, which is not a fact. This leads to, in brackets, what having this limiting belief causes in their business or life. And as a result, most feel like, validate their internal response, but it doesn't have to be that way. And then the script template goes on after that. Once again, I'm gonna leave the entire script in the description of this video. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm telling ChatGPT to take this copywriting template and come up with new templates for me to use so that I can not only write one email, but 10 different emails if I want to. And as you can see, ChatGPT pumps out a completely new fill in the blank copy structure. And that is how you come up with different structures of content for you to use. You can find hundreds of fill in the blank copywriting templates on the internet and feed it to ChatGPT with this prompt to come up with the unique templates for yourself. Now, another great way to come up with structures for you to use for emails and ads is by simply taking a look at what already existing ads and emails that you've seen that have worked well and ask ChatGPT to create a template out of it. And in order to do that, I just use this simple prompt. And this is what you type out. I'm gonna feed you with an example of a great email copy, and I want you, ChatGPT, to use it as a template to write another script with fill in the blank spaces. Do not copy it word for word. Just model the same structure and principles. Here's the email copy. And then obviously you just paste the copy there and ChatGPT will pump out a new email, ad, website page, or blog post copy structure for you to use. And here's one example where I used a past email I wrote to create a template out of it. That is how you use ChatGPT to get a good copy written for you. Not by telling it to write copy from scratch, but by taking proven successful copywriting templates and feeding it. That is step one. Step two is obviously fill in the blanks. Now, how do you do that? Well, you simply ask the client to provide you with that info. You ask them this information, and I did this for 6 years when I was running an agency. Who is your target customer? What is their main pain point? What is your solution, and how does your solution address their specific pain point and problems? What is their desired outcome? What's the limiting belief towards your solution or problem that they have? And how do they feel when they experience this problem? And then you just use the answer to those questions to feed ChatGPT and get it to fill in the blanks for you. And here is the exact prompt to do that. Once again, you're typing in here. Now I want you to fill in the blanks for the copy structure you just created, considering the following customer avatar. And then you basically just paste all of the answers from the clients into this prompt. And that's basically how you get your copy written for you to fulfill all of these gigs that you're applying to. And if you don't want to use Upwork for some reason, my second suggestion is that you join copywriting groups on Facebook and just apply to all of the gigs that you see on there. I mean, most groups will even have a job board where you can search specifically for these type of gigs. For example, the Cult of Copy job board. Now, the second free method to make your first $1,000 online is with viral products, but not the way majority of people approach it. That is, majority of people try to start a store, invest into ads, get inventory for a product, which is exactly the opposite of what you should do to make your first $1,000 with it. Again, that's what you do when you want to scale to $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 a year, maybe even a month. And there's a lot of risk involved into it. But if you want to make your first $1,000 and you want to do it risk-free without any of these complexities, by once again, taking advantage of things that are already proven to work. All we have to do here is find product videos that are going viral organically on TikTok, download those videos, re-upload them onto our own TikTok, and link them to a Shopify store. Since the videos you'll be uploading are already proven to work and go viral, the likelihood of a few of them popping off on your own account is very high. And TikTok is the best platform to do this. Because even if you start a new account with 0 followers, it will still show your videos to people. So it's super easy to grow. The most important step to success here is just finding videos that are currently going viral. Not the ones that went viral a month ago or a year ago. And by the way, here is how you do that. First, you want to start a brand new TikTok profile. Then you want to open TikTok and search for TikTok made me buy it or Amazon finds. Then here's the essential step to ensure the videos are currently working. You go to the filters option under date posted and you select this week, and under sort by, you select relevance. Then you start to study the results you got. You're gonna see dozens of products here. And whenever you see ones with a lot of likes, make sure to like them and follow that page. This way, you're gonna be training your algorithm to show you successful product videos on your recommended page. Now, after liking a few dozen product videos, all you're gonna see on your feed are more and more of those products to take inspiration from. So all you have to do is save the TikToks you like the most, download the videos, and re-upload them to your own account. Then you just create a simple Shopify store and add all of those products to your store. And then you just have to find a supplier to source the products from. 99% of them are sourced from either AliExpress, Alibaba, or CJ Dropshipping. All of those platforms ship the product directly from the supplier to the final customer, so you don't have to buy any stock at all. And there's literally thousands of videos on YouTube on how to create a Shopify store and source the products from AliExpress. The most challenging part of the equation here is just finding the right product videos. Now, the good news is that you just need a few of your videos going viral to make $1,000 with this. These types of operations are easy to start, but hard to scale. So they're the perfect model to make your first $1,000. But I just wouldn't recommend it if you're trying to push this further and if you don't have any experience. Again, the goal here for me, and the reason I'm doing this whole thing is just to help me 10 years ago. To help the kid, the younger Iman who just wants to make his first $1,000. That's it. Not to become a multi-millionaire, not to become a multi-six-figure earner. Just make your first $1,000. Prove it to yourself. Get your first taste of success. Now, the third easiest free method to make your first $1,000 online is with online sales, but a very specific type of online sales that doesn't require you selling anyone a product or a service. All you have to do is get people who are already interested in a product to schedule a call with a sales team. And that is called appointment setting. You see, there's a lot of businesses out there that invest tens of thousands of dollars in ads a month and get a lot of people to register with their details to watch a sales video or an event or whatever it may be. And the people who show interest in their products and register to watch a sales video or to join their email list are called leads. And usually those businesses rely on the sales video to get these leads that I told you about to book a call with their team where they are gonna sell them their product or service. Now, naturally, a lot of those leads don't book a call. You know, maybe they don't watch the entire video or they simply forget to book their call even if they're interested. And that creates a very interesting opportunity. If you just message those leads through email, SMS, or WhatsApp and ask them a few very simple questions like what they thought about the content of the video, and then if they'd be interested in booking a call with your team to learn more, a lot of those leads will actually book a call. And you can get paid a commission on the final sale for every single one of those leads who booked a call and ended up purchasing a product or service. And that is known as appointment setting. And again, on Facebook groups and platforms like Upwork, you can find hundreds of job posts for appointment setting roles. And to be honest, this is such an easy one to get a position that you can simply just message on Instagram anyone that sells a product for over $1,000 online and offer to message their leads to get appointments booked for them. And this is such an easy, such an in-demand service. And the reason why this is such a no-brainer for the business owners is that you only get paid commissions on sales that are made. So you don't really cost them anything and they never have to pay anything out of pocket. So listen, it's literally zero risk to them. And the thing with this method is that it's something that you already do all day long. You're already on your phone messaging people. So there's not much you need to learn to make $1,000 with it. This is as simple as it gets to make $1,000 online. And again, this simply works. Here's Jason, a student of Six Figure Sales Rep, which is another one of the $1,500 programs inside of Educate, who matched his monthly salary in just a week working as a setter, making $1,612 that very first week. Now, here's the thing. I want to share with you one paid method that speeds up this process by tenfold, so that way you can make your first $1,000 this month already. And this is my secret online income system. I want to share it with you just to prove anyone can make $1,000 with it. And I mean anyone. It doesn't matter if you don't have any previous experience. It doesn't matter your age, or if you have never made any money online before. So here's the deal. As I mentioned earlier, usually when I host a big event like Time's Up was, the comments are overwhelmingly positive. And that was the case with my last event as well. Now, I also received literally dozens of thousands of messages saying the exact same thing. Iman, I loved the content that you presented during the Time's Up event, and I really wish I could join Agency Navigator to learn how to make $10,000 a month and achieve financial, location, and time freedom. But I'll be honest, I just don't have the funds to join right now. Is there anything you could do to help me put together the $1,000 to join? And I mean, I'm used to receiving these type of messages. After all, I have always tailored my programs for a small segment of the market. I was never interested in having the cheapest program or the most attainable program. I wanted to build something custom, something incredible, something with one-on-one support where you have a one-on-one coach, and at a cheaper price point, it's just physically not possible. Listen, if I want to keep holding the record for the best student results in the industry, I need to keep the quality of the community inside of Agency Navigator extremely high. And that's why I'm aware. I know that 99% of people can't get into Agency Navigator. But this time around, it was different. The amount of messages I've received saying this really got me thinking. What if there was a way that I could help these people put together their first $1,000 online? And what if I could make that solution accessible to everyone? So I called my team into an urgent meeting and I told them I want to put together something to help the 14-year-old Iman, or the 16-year-old Iman, who was hungry, who was driven, who wanted world-class mentorship and coaching and guidance, but he didn't have $1,500 for that. So what am I going to do now? Just forget about helping me when I was getting started on my journey? And that's when I decided, you know what, maybe we can speed up the process here slightly. Maybe we can make something that was meant to be quite cheap, even cheaper. And that's when I realized something. You see, for the last 6 months, I've been working on putting together a program that was going to launch for $1,000 mid-2024. The entire idea of the program was very simple. Unfuck your life and make your first $1,000 online. And what you get inside is a program by me that helps you identify the issues that you currently have in your life and fix them. And then once they're fixed, I'm gonna give you 3 $1,500 programs for each one of the free methods that I showed you here today: copywriting, organic e-commerce, and sales. And each one of these programs is anywhere from 8 hours to 20 hours long, all recorded by educators who have made millions with this method. And with this, getting to $1,000 online, your first $1,000 with any of these methods, stops becoming a matter of luck and simply becomes a matter of just following the steps laid down in each program. And we're following the exact system I've shown you here today. First, fix the big problems stopping you from succeeding. Then, give you the 3 free methods to make your first $1,000. The difference is that what you saw here was just a 20-minute summary. I maybe spent 5 minutes on each method, but inside of it, you get a full-blown program for each one of those stages. And by the way, these aren't some shitty quality programs recorded by some 16-year-old who started his first business 6 months ago, like a lot of the other stuff out there is, let's be honest. Each one of these programs are Netflix-level productions, recorded with cameras that are literally Netflix grade. You know, there's only a few cameras in the world that you have to shoot with in order to be qualified to upload on Netflix. And these programs are shot in the most beautiful locations the money can get you access to: Lake Como, Dubai, London. And I called this program Digital Launchpad. And And what I realized was that this program would fix the exact problem that my audience had right now, making your first $1,000. So I've decided to do this. I'm not gonna launch this program later in 2024 anymore, as I was planning on. I'm gonna allow you to access it today. And it's not gonna cost you $1,000 either. In fact, to make it easier for you, to make it more palatable, I've made it a monthly subscription instead. The price, $99 a month. Now listen, I have never put anything out there at such a low price point. The cheapest online program I've ever put out was a $750 program 4 years ago. And this is by far the most affordable program I have ever launched. But there's a catch. You see, I want to test the waters before I make this program public. And that's actually why I'm only allowing enrollments in the next 72 hours. I'm looking for a few thousand people to test drive this program. So that way we can see how fast you can make your first $1,000. Then once the results are in and they are mind-blowing, I'm gonna launch it to the public for $99 a month. So if making your first $1,000 is something that you're interested in and you wanna be a part of the first group of people who get access to this digital launchpad, I'm launching it right now. And as a founding member, I wanna give you an extra incentive. I wanna give you a 67% discount. So when you join Digital Launchpad today, you can lock in your subscription for only $37 a month. At this price point, I'm making this accessible to literally everyone, anywhere in the world. And the honest truth is, if you cannot put together $37 to get access to this level of education, you probably won't be able to make your first $1,000 online anyways. So this is only open for the next 72 hours. So make sure to save your spot now by clicking the link in the description of this video or in the pinned comment. Oh, I forgot to mention, I also built out a leveling system inside of Digital Launchpad. You start as an apprentice, then you level up to a craftsman, then a diplomat, then a lord, then a prince, and then finally a king and an emperor. And as you level up, you unlock exclusive rewards that include extra content and early content to future programs. In fact, we've got a program launching in 33 days. You unlock coaching calls, access to my network, live monthly coaching calls with me, and even real life meetups with me and other members. The leveling is based on how long you've been inside of Digital Launchpad, and you can see the entire leveling system and what rewards you get as a level on the official Digital Launchpad page in the link below. So with all of that being said, the reason I started off this video so excited, and I said this has been years in the making, is I know that I've built a big audience in the last couple of years, but for a lot of you, you've been around. Like I've been uploading content for 9 years now. Back when I was a 15-year-old kid and I just made my first few $1,000s, flipping Instagram accounts, and I was about to start my first real business, an agency, at the age of 16. And I've been documenting this entire journey. And when I was 17 years old, and for a long time, maybe some of you guys remember it, my bio on Instagram was, I'm on a mission to reform the education system. And some people could say, oh yeah, but that's because you wanted to sell your program, so you're saying your program reforms the education system. Like, I was selling nothing. I had no paid program, I had no paid coaching, I had nothing. This was 2017. And it was the bio on my Instagram because that's always been my goal from day one. I wanted to reform the education system. But that's a big fucking goal. And that goal requires money, resources, access to people, access to the educators. Go look at the Digital Launchpad website and see the people we've already got on. These are some of the most famous, well-known, well-respected industry leaders online right now. And I have them inside of Digital Launchpad. And by the way, this is just the first month. I haven't even revealed who we've got coming on. So the reason I started off this video so excited is because I knew that one day I was gonna reform the education system. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that my agency program is gonna reform the education system. No, that is just a way for the people who wanna make 100K a year and wanna do it with the highest level of certainty. That is the best way. There's nothing else that beats that. But that's not reforming the education system. Reforming the education system is making education, world-class education, that you will not find anywhere else for an accessible price. And I understand, I really do understand a lot of your guys' frustration. I've had a lot of comments that, oh, your stuff is too expensive. You should make something cheap for us. You should make something accessible for us. Now is that moment. Now is that moment where you learn from the most well-known, well-respected educators in the world, in their fields, where you have coaching, guidance, community, where depending on how long you've been in the program, you even get to learn from me. And you get all of that for $37 a month. This is me reforming the education system. And if you want to be a part of it, I'll see you inside Digital Launchpad. You have 72 hours, and then I'm closing the test group.